G'day you mob, welcome to this episode of Aussie English, the number one place for everyone and anyone wanting to learn Australian English. Today I have special guest Rodrigo Honorato on the podcast, and he's going to be talking about his experiences learning English, traveling to America and diving into the culture there, working on things like pronunciation. He has a phenomenal accent, you're going to notice this. And then also a bit about identity and bilingualism, what it was like, trying to work out where you fit in the world, especially when you're overseas in an immersive environment. Anyway, there's loads in this interview, guys. It's a bit of a long one, but it's an interesting one, so hang in there. Let's just kick the bird and get into it. All right, guys, welcome to this episode of Aussie English. Today I have special guest Rodrigo Honorato, right? Have I said that correctly?
That's perfect.
That's it. So you're my Brazilian brother from another mother.
That's right. You dig?
So Rodrigo is from English Black Friday on Instagram, EBF Dawg, D-A-W-G. Rodrigo, welcome to the podcast, man. How are you going?
Oh, it's all good. Thank you very much for having me. I'm very happy to be part of Aussie English. I'm a huge fan, I have to say that. And, well, I'm here. I made it. I made it to Aussie English Spotify podcast, and that's amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Man, it's a pleasure. So what's the story? I guess you reached out to me recently asking to come on Instagram Live to chat about Australia and Australian English. And we just did that on your channel, which everyone can go and check out again at EBFDAWG on Instagram. Go check him out, English Black Friday Dawg. I wanted to get you on my podcast, obviously, to talk about English learning, but also becoming an English teacher, your story, and then a bit about identity and different dialects in English. So to start from the start, people may have heard you just introduce yourself and think, wait, he's got an American accent, but you're not American, are you?
No, I'm not. Actually, I'm born and raised in Brazil, but I've always loved English since I was a little kid. I don't even remember when I started it, but the first time I heard English, I remember trying to speak it. My mom asking me like, hey, why are you talking like that? I said, Mom, I'm speaking English. And she couldn't understand it. So she was like, well, but that's not English. I said, Mom, do you understand English? She said, no. I said, look. So you see, this is what I'm speaking. That's English, Mom. That's how it all started when I was, 6 or 7 years old. But I didn't have a chance to go to school until I was 17. I'm in an English institute.
Yep.
So then when I went to school to learn English at 17, that's when I fell in love with that language. I really wanted to speak it. And yeah, so then I've been an English teacher for 16 years now. And I've made this dream come true, and I'm very happy about my career. I'm very happy with my profession. And I think that everybody should speak English just because, it's a different world. English has opened my eyes and opened different doors to the world. Look at this. I'm talking to a guy from Australia, and this happens because we have decided to learn each other's language. And that's how beautiful I think English is. And that's why I try to motivate people into speaking that language, because it has changed my life. And I'm sure that if people decide to learn English, that language can really change people's lives. So I love it that way.
So you didn't learn any English until you were 17, or you didn't learn it officially at a school until you were 17? And I guess I'm asking because you've obviously got an incredibly high level with effectively no accent whatsoever, which most people would think impossible unless you grew up in, say, a bilingual family or in an immersive situation where you've been taken to a foreign country like, the United States from a very young age. But you're saying you started learning at a school at 17? What's the story?
That is correct. Before that, I actually had learned a couple of words like different colors like blue, black, pink, orange, and count how to from 0 to 10, the story of any Brazilian student. We would learn the verb to be from the 5th grade to high school, the same thing, but we never actually learned. So that's basically the same story that every Brazilian person would have. That was my story. So, but I think what made a difference in my life was the fact that I've always loved it since day one.
Yeah.
So I never had, anything that was like, oh, I have to study English. Oh my God, I have English homework today. So then I was like, yes, all right, English class today. I'm excited about it. Yeah, let's go. Or that's why I teach 12 hours a day.
Far out.
And at the end of the day, I feel tired, but I'm still very happy and excited. And yeah, so that's how I learned. Nothing related to being in the United States or growing up around people who speak English. No, I've always had the same people that speak Portuguese. They're all from Brazil. And I had never had a chance to go to school, to an English school before I was 17. So I would say that I started at 17.
So that was obviously 17 years ago, because you're 34, you were telling me in the previous call, which is a year older than me. So what was the, I guess, journey like from when you first started going to school to speaking the English that you currently speak? How did you get from being a 17-year-old who can count to 10 and only really say the colors and use the verb to be to someone who could fool most people and say, yeah, I'm from America?
Wow. Like, thank you for the compliment. But yeah, it's been hard work and mostly, dedication and self-motivation. But I cannot forget to mention a friend of mine. His name is Marcelo. And when I was 17, actually I was 16, right before my birthday, which is on March the 4th. My mother came up to me and she asked me what I would like as a present for my birthday. So I was like, Mom, what I really, really want to have
is an American accent.
I was like, Mom, it's something that we can't afford because of our financial conditions. I said that to my mom because my father had passed away when I was 12 years old.
Oh,
so then, life, no, that's all good. But everything started to be a little bit more difficult because we didn't have enough money coming in. And then my sister had to start work and I had to go to school. And then instead of taking the bus, I had to walk because we didn't have money for that. And I was like, okay, so life has to change. I'm not going to play as a victim of my fate. And so then when I was 17, I was 16. I was about to turn 17. My mom asked me that question. I said, Mom, I really want to study English. And I don't think my mother would expect me to say I want to study English because I had never liked studying. I had never liked school, actually.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, well, okay, I'm going to study. And so my mom and I went to different schools around town. And, well, we came to the conclusion that we didn't have enough money for me to study. So then my mom was sad because, like parents would feel really sad because they cannot afford something that their children want. So my mom was like, well, okay, well, unfortunately you can't. But 6 days later, this friend of mine, Marcelo, came up to me. He was like, Rodrigo, I have to tell you something, man. You know what? I'm moving to Little Rock, Arkansas in the United States for the high school. I'm going to be there for 2 years. I said, really? Man, that's awesome. Because that was my dream to go to the United States. My friend shared that with me. And he said, well, you know what? I have a scholarship in an English school and I'm going to put your name on it. I said, what? You're going to give that to me? I said, yeah, man, I know how much you love English. So, I cannot think of any other deserving person to have it. I was like, wow, man, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah. And he was like, well, but there's one thing. Whenever I come back here 2 years from now, we can only speak English. So, all right, okay, I'll take that. It's like, that's the challenge. I accept it. And he was like, okay. So then on the same day, we went downtown and then he gave that course to me. And I used to pay 32 reais, which means $8 a month.
Yep.
Eight, yeah. So that was like $8 a month. And then my mother could afford that. So that's when I started studying.
Ah, far. Okay, so the scholarship that he had was to the school in Brazil, was it the English school there?
Yes.
And he
Because
gave that to
he
you because he
moved.
was moving.
Yes, that's right.
Far out. And so was that really one of those sliding doors, moments where life could have gone one way, life went a completely different way because of that single sort of event?
Yes. Growing up in Brazil is not child's play. I mean,
That's what my wife says.
yeah, that's like,
You
man,
guys been hanging out?
yeah, it's just like we have
She always says, like, growing up in Brazil isn't for beginners.
No, it's not, man. It's like everybody's trying to get something from you. It's like pretend to be your friend, but they're not. So you got to be really smart not to get into any trouble.
Is this the jeitinho brasileiro? Like
yes.
Do you want to tell the non-Brazilians listening a bit more about that, because it's sort of an interesting cultural aspect to Brazil, right?
Yeah, this jeitinho brasileiro that Pete is just talking about, it's actually the way Brazilian people always have to get around with anything they do. For example, let's say that, okay, you go to the mall and you have to pay for parking. So, well, you have to pay for parking, but then you say, oh, hold up, man, a friend of mine works at the mall. So let me call him because he has the cards. Because for people that work at the mall, they don't have to pay for that parking. Hold on, just give me a second. Let me call him. I say, hey, Brian, hey, I'm gonna go to the mall, man. Can you swipe the card for me?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Hook me up.
Sure, man. I'm gonna swipe the card. Yeah. So that everything you have a way to deal with it. It's just like, and people think it's, I don't know. I think it's cultural, but people here, and that includes me because I've done that a couple times. It feels like, oh yeah, okay, cool, man. You got the system, but I'm smarter than your system. I mean, I didn't pay for parking today. Yeah, I'm so smart.
Well, it's interesting because you guys have that phrase for it, right? Jeitinho brasileiro, which effectively means little Brazilian way, right? But
yeah,
it's not unique. There are plenty of people in Australia who would try and shortcut having to pay for parking and that sort of thing, but we don't really have this kind of term for it. Like a kind of, I remember reading, the book that's something like How to Stop Giving an F? What's his name? He lives in Brazil and he blogs in Portuguese as well. And I remember him writing an article that was like, part of the biggest problem with Brazilian culture is the jeitinho brasileiro. And that you guys need to try and get rid of that in order to get rid of the corruption. Because I think his argument was like, it gets into politics, it gets into the army, it gets into all of these different things. So it's interesting. I don't know. I love those sorts of differences between cultures.
Yeah, and that's something that, for example, entrepreneurs, they will think about before they open up a business, before they do anything. For example, I was in Australia in January, and then I bought me some trousers, and that was at the store this is like one of those outlets you have.
Yeah.
And well, when I checked the trousers, I was just like, hey, I think I got the wrong number. I mean, this is not my size. And the lady was just like, oh, okay. So just give me those and just go get yours. I was like, you don't need the receipt? Oh, no, actually, I just go there. I was like, what? That was easy like that. And the thing was that I was just like, hold up, man, I'm black. You're not going to stop me from going there and get those pens? Because Brazil and
in Australia, we don't have that racial background, I don't think. So we don't have that kind of, I guess it's systemic or ingrained kind of racism. Obviously, racism exists in Australia, but because we don't have the history of slavery with Africans coming over here, and the disparity there, we don't have that kind of ingrained. So yeah, it is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, and then I was just like, oh my God. It's like that was the easiest way for me to, take something back to the store and change it for something else. Like here in Brazil, they'll be like, all right, let me see the receipt. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then they would check the receipt. Then they would check the pens. They say, well, this thing here, did you sew it back together? So no. Actually, I just bought the pens, but those are not my size. That's it. I'm coming back. Okay. And then you get a security guard and say, hey, yo, follow this young man here. He's going, oh, man, really? But in Australia, everything was so easy for me. It's just like, wow, living in here might be paradise. Look at that. Nobody's looking down on me. Look at the lady over there. She has a purse, and she is not hiding the purse from me. Oh, that's cool.
That's one of those things Kel noticed. I think she was like, you guys are so she was always like, what the hell, you guys just have like gardens without any big fences, the doors don't have very strong locks on them, you'll leave the doors open. And I'm like,
yeah,
I think it's because maybe it comes down to, in Australia the average person has what they need, so
yes.
they don't, the low level crime isn't here because we don't have really extensive socioeconomic disparity between groups. And
That's
so
right.
you don't have the lower class that's been trampled on and this really uber rich class where the only way for the lower class to get ahead is to try and do the jeitinho brasileiro or to try and, have to resort to crime.
Yeah.
It's sad though. That's one of the things that makes me really sad, I guess, about Brazil is that you guys have so much wealth, right? Your country is the size of
Yes.
America, the United States of America, and
Yes.
with no deserts, right? You guys could be all as rich as, way richer than Australia, but
Yes,
because
definitely.
of,
I mean, oh, sorry.
no, you go.
Yeah, I mean, Brazil it's a huge country. It's beautiful. People work hard. I mean, we do have beautiful culture. I mean, our food is delicious. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, everybody's funny and fun. I mean, you hang out with people. I mean, everybody makes you happy. They make you smile. They love different culture. I mean, you're from Australia. If you come to Brazil, people will look at you and they will try to make friends with you right away. And there's, oh no, let me take you to this place. Oh, you've never tried this food? Oh, I know, just come over to my house. I want to show you that. People are nice, people are friendly, but we do have a system, like a political system, that messes everything up.
Yeah.
It's just like, unfortunately, I mean, our people have suffered with, exploitation. It's like people have been exploited by the politicians and by, big entrepreneurs, big businessmen, that treat people like trash. And that really bothers me.
One of the interesting things we were watching recently was a series on Netflix called Rotten, and it was talking about the different issues in the food industry, the dodgy side of it. And I think is it JCB that is the huge company in Brazil that owns, heaps of meat processing plants.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it bought up a bunch of chicken plants in America during the financial crisis recently because they went bankrupt. And the only way for it to do it was to bribe the Brazilian government to give the JCB company loans, billions of dollars worth of loans to buy those companies overseas. And
then what happens?
they went bankrupt.
Exactly.
And their guys are in jail now. But yeah, the very fact that they obviously lined the pockets of some people high up in the government to allow them for a business to get these sort of private loans from the government, which I think was actually illegal. Brazil doesn't usually do that, but for whatever reason, because of corruption, did it in this case.
Yeah.
But just shows that how much the system favors the dodgy and the rich and tramples on the poor, that's the saddest thing for me, at least, because you guys, have the potential, if we can get rid of this corruption, to be a much more well off, right, on average.
Yeah, that's crazy, because I don't know if you know that, but the farming lands of Brazil is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Massive crops. And man, we grow everything. I mean, really, if you're eating fruit here, and instead of throwing the seed in the trash, you throw the seed outside the window, you're gonna have that tree.
Yep.
That's literally like that. Look at this. My girlfriend lives in a small town, and she had to pick up oranges because they have orange trees in the house. And then, when the oranges were kind of rotten, or there was like, a little maggot in it, she would just throw it on the street. You know what happened after 6 months? They had an orange tree on the street. Really. I mean, literally, without doing anything, just like throw that away. You got
Yeah.
an orange tree on the street. It's like, how does that happen? Because our soil is very, how do you say that? Fertile.
Yeah, 100%. Because of the Amazon rainforest, effectively, right? You guys had just forest
Exactly.
everywhere for, thousands and thousands of years, maybe millions of years.
And
So,
then, like, we have food like that. And then what bugs me out the most is the fact that there are still people suffering from starvation. Are you
yeah.
serious?
Yeah.
Ah, man,
Well, Kel's
that
told me
is,
about that with Interior Maranhão, the state of Maranhão in the north. She's like, man, the cities are fine, but you go in a little way interior, and people don't have electricity. They don't have running water. The roads are unsealed. They're just dirt
yep.
roads. And she's like, but we have millions and millions of dollars in the state going to the government, but then it just disappears and doesn't come back into those places. So yeah,
That's true.
it is a shame about corruption. But so what happened? Getting back to you and learning English, you started doing this course, and what was the rest of the sort of trajectory to becoming an English teacher that's traveled the world and lived overseas in the US and everything like that? Tell us the story.
Yeah, so everything started that way. So I started going to school every Monday and Wednesday from 2 to 3 p.m. But I studied regular high school in the morning.
Yep.
So instead of coming home, I would have lunch downtown, and then I would just wait for an hour for my English class.
That's right, because
And then I was
you guys have sort of a weird system, right? With there's so many students, you can go to school in the morning or you can go to school after lunch, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right. So I went to regular school from 7 to 11:50 in the morning.
Yep.
Then I would have this lunch break. Then right after that, I would have English classes on Mondays and Wednesdays from 2 to 3. Those uh, the only classes I had. But since I didn't have anything else to do, I stayed in the school from 2 to 9 p.m. So that was crazy like that. I was like, why am I going to go home? I mean, if I go home, I'm going to be watching TV and, playing soccer with the same friends, talking about the same cartoons, playing the same video games. Now I'm going to be here in school.
Far
So
out.
then what
So what,
happened
you
was,
had an hour class and then you hung out for an extra 6 hours afterwards.
yeah. And then basically what happened was I studied with the Cambridge material called Interchange or New Interchange, something like that. And by a guy that I think is from Australia, Jack C. Richards.
Not sure.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so then I studied in that book, and well, I would read the whole book, and then everybody would take 6 months to cover that book. I covered it in 2 weeks because I did all the exercises, and then I tried to speak. And then I heard people speaking, and then I heard that they had this conversation class that was only for the intermediate and upper intermediate and advanced students. Then I walked up to the teacher, and I was like, excuse me. Well, I'm a very basic student. I've been here for only 3 months, but I heard about this conversation class. May I participate? I promise I'm not going to say anything. I just need to hear people speaking. And she was like, yeah, sure, you can join in, but you have to talk to the coordinator because this is for the upper intermediate and advanced students. I was like, okay. Well, and then I talked to the coordinator. Coordinator was like this, Rodrigo, I see that you're always here. I mean, you have classes only on Mondays and Wednesdays, but you're here on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Don't you have anything else to do? I say, yeah, I do. I mean, my dream is to be a teacher, and I need to get ready for this business. And she was like, okay, so you want to be a teacher? Yes, this is what I want. And she was like, okay, so you can be one of our tutors. So what is your level? It's basic 1, which was the first level. And she was like, okay, so what do you know how to speak? I said, well, I know how to introduce myself. I know simple present, present continuous, all the vocabulary from New Interchange 1 and 2. So pretty much you open the book and you ask me any questions I think I can answer. She's like, really? I said, well, I don't know. I mean, I've seen this book like 3 times from back to back. So I think I know. But, I couldn't speak everything that I knew. So I would sound weird. Instead of saying, for example, I had to say table, I would say tablet
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't know how to pronounce. So I would speak just the way a Brazilian person would read that word.
Yep.
So then this coordinator was like this. Well, Rodrigo, you have to work on your pronunciation. And well, yes, sir. You know pretty much everything from this book. So why don't you help the teachers correct the exercises for the other students? Yeah, sure. And then every time I had my desk man on, I was listening to music all the time. So I was listening to 50 Cent back then, right? 50
Yep.
Cent and Nelly and all those American rappers that they
It's
were.
a trip down memory lane for me in high school.
Yes, that was me in high school too. It was like, man, listening to all of that, love you and I need you. Oh my
Yeah.
God, I love those songs. Yeah, so I was listening to all that. Remember, in the club, go shawty.
Yeah, it's your birthday.
Yeah, exactly. So then I was listening to all of that. And then what happened was that I learned how to sing those songs without knowing what they meant.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know the words, but I knew how to pronounce them because I only practiced pronunciation. And then one day I went to school. There were the teachers in there, just like, hey, guys, can I rap a lyric here? And then you tell me if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So then I started rapping Ain't Nothing But a G Thing by Snoop Dogg. You know that one?
I probably would if I heard it, but yeah, I know Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, that's the one like 1, 2, 3, and to the 4. Snoop Doggy Dogg and Dr. Dre is at the door. We're in to make an entrance, so back them up because, we're about to rip shit up. And then I sang that. Yeah, and then when I sang it, all the teachers were like, oh my God, I can't sing that. How do you do that? I was like, well, I don't know. It's just like I've been listening to it like the whole year, and now I think I can do it. And the teachers were impressed. The coordinator was like this, Rodrigo, you have to have something here in school for music. And that's 1 year later. 1 year later, I opened up my first course, which was English with African-American accent and Black music. And then people were like, and all the teenagers, they wanted to have classes with me. And I was not a teacher. I had been studying English for 1 year, but I taught the kids how to sing rap music. So then they were super excited about it. And then I remember them going like this, hey, bud, MF word is a bad word, right? Yeah, I don't.
You can say it on the podcast. It's all good.
Okay, so it's just like, okay, so can I say motherfucker? I say, well, motherfucker is a bad word. I don't know exactly what that means, but if I were you, I wouldn't say that. But all the rappers are using that. Okay, all right, learn how to sing it, but don't use that with your teacher because it's a bad word, okay? So, okay. And that's how it all started. So then I fell in love with teaching. I knew that every time when I was in the classroom, I felt like, wow, this is the place I want to be for the rest of my life. I love this place. And I'm going to make this place my own. And then I developed my own style of teaching, more regarding the culture of the language. And then I went to college for it. I was just like, well, I want to become a real professional. So then I went to college and I studied linguistics and literature. I got my degree in Portuguese, then in Spanish, then in English. And then I was like, okay, so now I'm ready to go. And that's when I applied for real jobs.
Yeah, got the credentials.
Like, okay. Yeah, I got the credentials. Now I'm qualified. I'm ready to go. Yeah. So then at 21, like after 4 years, I had my first chance to go to the United States where I worked at a summer camp, this YMCA. Then I worked for...
Do you want to explain what a summer camp is for people who may not know?
Yeah, well, a summer camp is a very cultural place where kids in America go to during summer.
Because
so they go
different from here. The summer is in the middle of the year, and they have a big break, right, from school.
That's right. So from May to mid-August, that's when they have their summer, which is funny for me too, because in Brazil we have summer in December and January.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what? You got summer in July. July is cold. Come on.
What? Even in Brazil, I thought it was still scorching.
Yeah, no, it's kind of cold. Yeah. not as cold as Melbourne though, but
Mm.
yeah, it's kind of cold here. And yeah, so then I went there to work as a summer camp counselor, and I stayed there 3 months. And then when I got to Houston, Texas, that's where I went. I started living with this traditional Texan family. You know, everybody was white, and they spoke like that, and I really liked it. And then I worked at a predominantly black community called A Leaf. It's southwest Houston, and so then I got to meet a lot of white people, black people from the United States, and then that's when I understood that the language was different.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Do
I
you
was
want to
like,
talk
wow.
about the cultural differences there? Because it must have been a bit of a culture shock to meet, obviously, white Texans, but also the blacks that live in Texas too, right? The African Americans there.
Yes, that was difficult in the beginning because I didn't know which group I would fit in. Well, I'm brown. Like I would say, okay, I consider myself to be black Brazilian.
Yep.
But many people in Brazil would just say, "Oh, well, you're not actually black. You're a mix of black and white, so you're kind of brown, and you're not that black, or you're not white." So it's just like I'm in the middle. And in America, I felt that really strongly because the white people would never call me white, and the black people wouldn't call me black.
Oh, really?
And the Latinos wouldn't call me Latino because I'm not from a Spanish-speaking country. So I was just like somebody else. It's like, yeah, because you have the black people, the white people, the Latinos, and Rodrigo.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, like
that's Kel's always considering herself. My wife is always considering herself Latino, and I always give her a hard time saying, "Don't you have to speak Spanish to be Latino, Kel?" And she's like, "No, you just have to be from South America, damn it."
Yeah, that's how I see it too. Just like, well, I know I'm a Latin American man,
mm-hmm.
but I don't know why, but Brazilian people, they separate that way, or maybe American people separate that way.
I think it's just Spanish-speaking Latinos in America would probably just say you have to be one of us. You need to speak Latin America. To be one of us as a Latin American, you need to speak Spanish. So
yeah, I think that's how they see it. But I mean, I love the cultural differences. I mean, I was barbecuing with Texas people. They love the tailgate thing. They watch.
Do you want
football.
to explain what that is?
Well, tailgate is the party they have out back, usually on the parking lot before the football match starts.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those Texas people, they just drive their trucks, the pickup trucks, to the parking lot at the stadium, and then they barbecue, they drink, they talk about football, and they kind of have this warm up party before the football matches starts. And so then I participated in all that. I remember once that was baseball that night. That would be Astros and Cincinnati, if I'm not mistaken. And it was baseball. Everybody was white. I was the only brown guy hanging around there. People started looking at me differently. But since I was there with my Texas family, my family was just like this. Hey, Rodrigo, so let me introduce you to people here. This is my brother, Mike. Hey, Mike, this is Brazilian. He is a student. He is staying in my house for a while. I mean, it's a very fun guy. You should talk to this guy here. And then he's like, oh, you're from Brazil? Okay, so you might speak Spanish, right? And then, no, I don't. I speak Portuguese. That thing got on my nerves. Like, why do you think I speak Spanish? Just because they assume that south of the border,
they think anyone from South America speaks Spanish. Yeah, I get that all the time. Even when I tell them my wife's Brazilian, they're like, "Oh wow, so she speaks Spanish?" I'm like, "Well, no, but she speaks Portuguese pretty well."
Yeah, then yes, but I loved it. And then on the other side, I lived with this guy, Jack Igadon. His father was Jamaican, his mother was Nigeria, or vice versa. I don't remember. And he was black. And he took me to all the black neighborhoods, 3rd Ward, 5th Ward, 7th Ward, Houston downtown. He took me to rap concerts, those ones that they have the low riders, the cars jumping, bouncing up and down.
These weird souped up cars with like hydraulic suspension that bounce them. Yeah.
Yes, I saw all of that in person. And remember, when I was a teenager, I was
like a
listening
kid in a candy store, right?
Yes, I was like, man, I've seen all this in the video clips when I was 17 learning English. And now I'm here. And so then that culture was completely different. And, that was difficult for me to fit into the Black community as well until he introduced me to people. He was just like, hey, yo, hey, everybody here, man. This is my brother here, man. It's from Brazil, that's his first time here in America, man. He needs to have a great time, all right? People, all right, man. All right, hey, pleased to meet you, bro. I was like, man, how come you go from pleased to meet you to bra? I was like, oh, that was different. Like, pleased to meet you, bro.
I guess, yeah, bra is short for brother, right?
Yeah, that's right. And then I loved it because I could see white America in Texas and Black America in Texas. They're like two different worlds in the same city of Houston.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. And, the parties they had, the music they listen to, the food they eat, the language they speak. I could learn how to code switch. Like when I was with my white family and my white friends, I would speak the way I'm talking to you right now. So then everybody would understand me. Nobody would see me as a threat or somebody that was, just trying to sound cooler than everybody.
Well, even just as an outsider, right? Like, yeah, if you use the wrong code in the wrong situation, you kind of put yourself outside the group, right?
Right. That's correct. So then I always paid attention to it. I was like, okay, but I see that nobody in this Black community here is saying, hi, how are you today, mister? No, nobody would say that. They say, hey, what do you do, man? Hey, what's up, man? Hey, yo, let me tell you something that happened last week.
It's such a weird thing in America, and it's interesting because, I mean, we were talking about this before and how Brazil doesn't have that kind of differentiation in pronunciation or dialects, right, across racial lines. There's right. Black people speak with this accent predominantly, and the whiter Brazilians of, European heritage or whatever speak with this accent. It's kind of all just regionally based. But in America, quite often they have, I don't know if it's still referred to as Ebonics, but that's what I learned it was referring to, the pronunciation that the Black community, the African American community largely use. I mean, it's not what you would hear Michelle Obama or Barack Obama use, unless they were in a Black community or an African American community somewhere, and then they kind of code switch and start speaking a little bit more, that, hey, what's up, yo, using that sort of language. Yeah. So it is really interesting, and it's almost like America's such a weird place in terms of race. It's so unique compared to, say, Brazil or Australia. I mean, I know racism exists everywhere, but it's almost like in America, from my understanding, the Black community tries to prevent, whether subconsciously or consciously, Black people becoming too quote unquote white in terms of how they behave or how they speak. So if you want to speak like, a normal American person, whatever, like an educated person who's going to become a doctor or something, but you're from an African American neighborhood, the average person there is probably going to be like, you're not talking like us anymore. You're not behaving like us anymore. What's wrong with you? Now you're an outsider, or do you think you're too good for us? Are you better than us? So it is interesting how they kind of police it, right? And the same if you were to speak with an Ebonics kind of, with that slang and with that pronunciation, but you were working as a lawyer, people would be like, dude, what the hell are you doing? This is a professional place where you have to kind of get rid of that, right? It's really interesting. But so how did you find it, wrapping your head around?
That was awesome. I mean, the way you brought that up is for those out there listening to it, Ebonics is a combination of the two words ebony and phonics. So phonics are the sounds, and ebony are black. So it's like the sounds of black. And well, they have this academic name for it, which is the African American Vernacular English.
Yes.
And I learned how to code switch while I was in America, because of this experience that I think that was unique. I mean, hanging out with the white people and the black people, and the white people speak that way and the black people speak that way. We cannot see this in Brazil. We see this in Brazil more related to social class. So you see, like the rich people, they do have a way to say things, and the way they talk, they have money. And poor people, they always sound the same, but it doesn't matter what color of the skin. It has nothing to do with the color of the skin, the complexion, or anything. It has to do with the amount of money people have, because that would give them more access to education. So then they would sound like that. For example, we say we are. So we are from Brazil, and then poor people would say we is from Brazil.
Yeah. And linguistically, that's not incorrect, right? Because no,
it's not.
There's no right or wrong grammar. It's sort of it's almost like a democracy, right? If a certain type of grammar is used and it's arguably incorrect, normally, as soon as it becomes used predominantly in a place, it becomes quote unquote correct grammar, right? So it is interesting.
That's right. Yeah, it's like we tend to call the language the normative grammar. So the normative grammar, we create the norms for it. But that's not the language. That's just the grammar.
Yeah.
But there are so many other grammars that you just don't accept them to be correct because you're so-called, it's just like you have the prestigious language, and people need to speak that way, like received pronunciation or posh, or
would it be like making that argument, right? Of this received pronunciation from Britain is the correct pronunciation and anything else is wrong. You'd be like, well, no, that's not how it works.
Nah, actually, who speaks that way? And you sound boring. That's what you sound like.
How did it feel though when you were obviously a Brazilian? You end up in the US. You're in Texas, where you've got, I assume, these pretty stark differences between these communities, the African American community and the Caucasian community, as well as the Hispanic community in Texas. How did you feel in terms of identity? Like, which one of those did you fit into? Did you fit into any of them?
You know what I loved about this experience? That was the first experience. And then I happened to go back to the United States other 3 times to work as summer camp counselors too. So I went to Texas twice, then I went to Virginia, then I went to Boston area. All those experiences were great, but this first experience in Texas was amazing for me to understand who I am.
Yeah.
Because I was trying to fit into a community. I was trying hard. It was just like, I got my ear pierced. I was like, yeah, I know, because see, all the black people, they have earrings, so I want to have one. I mean, I need to because they do, or man, I need to, use body language this way because black people use that. And then first thing that happened was this friend of mine, Jack, he was just like this, Rodrigo, I see that you're trying to sound and act the way we do. Don't do that, man. It's like, no, man, you don't need that. I mean, you can be yourself. You don't have to do that, man. I like you because of who you are. You don't need to be us. I said, wow, okay. That was first lesson. And I always wanted to fit into the groups. But then I've realized that I could have my own group. I didn't have to fit into any of them. It's just like, well, I am. Yes, I am myself. That's it. I mean, whether you like it or not, I'm not going to be something that I'm not just to please you. Like, if you accept me the way I am, that's the kind of person I want to hang out with.
Well, it's sort of a maturity thing, though, right? That comes with age. I remember being a teenager in early 20s, and you jump from group to group, right? You want to be part of this group. You want to be, you're trying to find your place in the world. And then the ironic thing is that most people get to their late 20s, early 30s, and they're kind of like, well, screw all the places in the world. I'm just going to be me, right?
Yeah.
I'm not, the way that the group is defined. That doesn't define me.
Yeah, and then I love this because in terms of identity, I was like, wow, I don't have to speak like American. I can speak with my Brazilian accent. That would be okay. I mean, if just like I had the chance to go to Australia last January, Loved the place, loved the people, the food. I mean, I ate food from Nepal. I was like,
In
wow,
Australia.
yeah. I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, man, like I went to a market in Sydney. I was like they had all Chinese food, Japanese food. They had a Chinatown. They have Nepali food.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. I was just like, yes, this is where I belong. I belong in here to the
Well,
world. Man,
in big
that's
cities in Australia, it's almost weird to not be a foreigner.
yeah, that's right. I was like, and that made me feel good too. Cause like, I see that everybody was different. And I was like, hey, where are you from? Just like a couple of people I talked to, there were people from China. There were people from China. I was like, man, yeah, everybody from China here. Where are the Australian people? Yeah, there were so many people from China.
Well, that's our education system at the moment. I think China's obviously one of our biggest neighbors. They've got a lot of people in the middle class and upper class now that can afford to come and be educated overseas. And so
That's
Australia is
right.
one of the closest places they can go to get a Western education. So, yeah, it is interesting that the large cities tend to have huge populations now of
That's right.
Chinese. So it is definitely changing, right? The world's changing in terms of being multicultural, especially in big cities. But so what was it like in terms of working out how deep to get into, say, the black culture in America? Because I assume you could dive completely in and sort of lose the rest of who you are identity-wise. But then, as you said, your friends say, you don't have to do this, just be you, it's fine. How did you sort of work out where the limit is?
Yeah, so I wanted to fit into the group just like I told you before. But then after talking to Jack for a while, I was just like, well, Jack, well, I want to at least understand it, but I don't want to understand it as an outsider. I want to
Mm.
live this culture you have. So I want to, learn how to eat the food or learn how to use the slang you use or why do you have a bandana? I want to understand why you have that. I want to understand why instead of saying what's up, you say what it do or what it do. You ever heard this before?
No, that's the first time. What to do?
Yeah, say what it do. It's like what's up, but it's very Houstonian way.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like people from
interesting.
Houston say that. Say what it do, shawty. What
Shorty.
he do, shorty? Really? I was like, okay. So then Jack was like this. All right. So if you want to learn that, I'm going to take you to places that you won't understand people. And then the first place he took me to was Third Ward. Third Ward was this place that's a project which is historically a black community, a black project. And by the way, this guy that just died in the United States, George Floyd,
Mm-hmm.
he used to have this very big project in Third Ward, and I've
Oh,
been
so he
to
was
that
from there,
place.
was he originally?
I don't know where he was from, but he helped a lot. I mean, this is what people are telling.
Yeah.
They were telling the stories like that. It's like, man, George Floyd used to help a lot here in the Third Ward project. So like everybody was either black or Latino, and they had the certain language in that area. So when we drove past that community, we stopped by at one of those liquor stores, and then you see, it's just like in movies, right? You stop at a liquor store, there are always like people hanging around and drinking and talking, and they're
Mm-hmm.
always telling stories. And that's Texas, so they're always loaded, carrying a gun. So we don't want to mess around. So it's just
We were
like,
talking about this in the live that we did on your channel. You were like, Texans are really polite. And I'm like, yeah, because they were all carrying guns. Like,
exactly. So we knew they all had guns, and that's part of the culture. I understood that, but Jack was like this. Hey, don't even say anything, okay? Just walk in. We buy stuff, and then whenever we come out of the store, I'm going to ask a dude a question, and then this guy will explain. I want you to tell me what you understood from that explanation.
mm-hmm.
And then I could barely understand what the guy said. I was like, wow. Because That was so different. They speak like they do have a deep voice, and they have the southern drawl with the ebonics and the local slang all mixed up. So it sounded a little bit like that. Nah, ain't nothing to do, man. It's just like, hey, you gotta go down that way over there.
Mm.
And hey, once you see that thing, man, hey, what was the name of the nigga with it? All right, cool. All right. Hey man, hey, you gotta go down that street over there. You see that street? All right, so you turn left, and then when you turn left, and then you're gonna see a roundabout right in front of you. Don't take the first exit, take the second. And then it's like he was explaining. Now I can understand it, but back then I was just like, man, I have no idea where to go. I have no idea where to go. I didn't
Just
understand.
go where he was pointing. Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
it's like, man. It's like, man, please, man, just sit in the car. It's like you got shotgun, literally. Just sit over there, and then
All right.
you tell me how to. Yeah, that was very different, but that helped me a lot because that made me study more. Also, I when I got back to Brazil, I had so much material. I was like, yes, man, I have, man, a lot to study. I know, and I love the fact that I don't know a lot. It's just like I know I've studied hard. I know a whole lot, but I don't know everything, and that makes me happy because I know that I can learn some more. It's just like, imagine if I learned everything about English, my life would be so empty now. It's like, damn it! I mean, I learned everything. It's like, no. So
do you feel like you lost a bit of who you were as a Brazilian when the more you gained in terms of culture and identity that was American, or do you feel like it's only been gaining the American? How do you feel about your identity in that sort of way?
Well, I feel more Brazilian, I guess. Just like, because everywhere I go now, just like, thank God. I mean, life has been treating me really well. I mean, with my work as a teacher, I could travel to different countries, talk to different people, and every time I go to a different country, I feel like coming back home. It's just like, man, I know where I belong. I'm Brazilian. I love my place. I love my culture, my food, but I really want to see Australia again. I really want to go to New Zealand now. So, man, New Zealand, wow. See the snow on the top, surf on the bottom. Cool. I want to go see it. But then I want to come back home. So I feel that has strengthened my identity as a Brazilian person. And that makes me happy in a way because this is what I try to teach people. It's just like, well, man, if you understand who you are, man, nobody can put you down anymore. And nobody will tell you that you're wrong or your culture is wrong. It's just because you learned how to enjoy it. You learned how to respect it. It's like, I personally don't listen to a lot of Brazilian music because since I was a kid, my mom listened to a lot of American singers. Like Michael Jackson was part of my childhood, and Elvis Presley and Nina Simone, Aretha Franklin.
Yeah.
So I grew up listening to this kind of music. So today I don't listen to a lot of Brazilian artists, and then I started to like it more. I started to say, wow, well, this guy here, he tells a story of the northeast of Brazil. And we are the only ones who understand this because this is who we are. And then I started enjoying more my country, you know what I mean? Just because of this travels and because of my chance, my opportunity to go see the world. Now I understand my culture and I respect it more and I value it more.
It is pretty interesting how that happens, right? In terms of people leaving their countries, going abroad, whether it's for a long time or a short period of time, and then just having a sort of bigger world that they sort of see where they fit in and having a deeper appreciation for their home country culture as well as other countries and cultures.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know how that happens exactly, but Yeah, so some people, they just get out of the country and they go like, "Oh, thank God I'm out of this country. I'll never go back." I mean, for me, that was the opposite. Every time I go out of the country, I was, uh, let me just give you this example. Australia has always been a big dream for me. That was one of the greatest dreams, to go see Australia. It was just like, man, I want to see that place
Just for the
because of the
koalas?
culture. Man, believe it or not, my girlfriend is a biologist. She was the one going, like, "Oh my God, you're going to Australia? Hug a koala for me." I was like, "Hug a koala? I'm not gonna hug a koala."
You seen their damn
No, you
claws?
have to.
Aren't you crazy?
Yeah, I was like, "No, come on, they can bite you." No, they're the cutest animals in the world. So okay, and then yeah, I could see they're really cute. I saw them on some trees, and then I went to one of the zoos, and then I could see them up close. Amazing. But I wanted to go because of the culture, the language itself. I had met a couple of Aussie people, and then I was just like, yeah, I mean, I like that accent. I love the way that you guys don't say big, you say big. I was like, cool, man. They have the long I for the word big. They don't say did, they say deed. Wow, that's
No.
like no, they
They'd
don't
be
say
some
that,
weird
right?
Australians. I'd say did and big. I
Okay,
think
you say
maybe
did
New
and big.
Zealanders.
Okay,
Maybe New Zealanders, but how did you
yeah.
see,
So
what was
then,
it like having gone to America and then coming to Australia as an outsider's sort of view? How would you compare the two cultures?
well, I think
You can be honest
Australians.
too. You're welcome to be
Okay, I think
honest.
Australians are more laid back and like cooler, actually, in terms of in America, that was really difficult for me to talk to people. If they were not part of the community, or working with me, or friends of my friends, I didn't really have a chance to go talk to them. In Australia, that was a little bit different. It's just like one day I was sitting by the river in Brisbane, and then I was just sitting over there because my friends that were hosting me, they had to go to work, and I was on vacation, so it's just like, well, let me just go see Brisbane. So then I took the train, and I'm sitting in the train, and then this person sat by me, and I say, "Hey, hi. Uh, well, I'm sorry, I'm from Brazil. This is my first time here. Can you help me how to get to CBD?" And so, "Oh yeah, that's very easy, mate." And then they explain everything to me. It's like in America, it's I'm not from here either.
Even if they were.
Yeah, just because they don't want to help me. And then I felt that in New York, man. In New York, it happens. It's like, "Hey, excuse me, you know how to get to Harlem?" "Oh, damn, everybody knows how to get to Harlem, man. You don't know that?" "Oh, damn."
Thanks,
"I'm
dude.
not from here, man." I appreciate the help. I was like, yeah. So then I was sitting by the river. Then I sat down there, and it was this lady. She was walking with her kid, the baby in the baby carriage, and she sat by me, and she was just like, "Hi, good day." I was like, "Oh, good day, cool." Yeah, they don't say good morning here, but good day, right? I say, "Hey, good day." And she was like, "It's kind of hot today, right?" I said, "Yeah, it's really hot. I never imagined Australia to be so hot like that." "Oh, really? You're not from here? Where are you from?" "So I'm from Brazil. I'm just here on vacation." "All right, cool. Hey, your English is good. So thank you so much. You sound American to me." I said, "Yeah, I heard that a couple times. She's like, "Yeah, you really do sound American to me."
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like people started talking, and that made me feel like, wow, that's just like in Brazil. Brazil people look at you, Pete. They would just say, "Cool, you have blue eyes. Nice. Hey, where'd you get
Thanks.
those
I
blue
grew
eyes
them
from?"
myself.
Yeah, I was like, "I got it from my mama." "Oh, cool. Yeah, so your mama got blue eyes? Nice, man. Yeah, my mom got blue eyes too, but mine are brown. I guess, they just struck up a conversation, and things happen."
Mm-hmm.
So I felt that way. So in Australia, I felt that people are easier to deal with, and that's closer to a Brazilian culture. Americans would be a little colder for my, my taste. Then I'd be like, wow, they're a little colder, and they are not very open for a conversation with an outsider.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
a
didn't
little
feel
harder
that
to
in
get in,
Australia.
is it?
Yeah,
Crazy.
Australia was nice, man. I liked that.
Well, man.
And another place that was super nice like that was Turkey.
Oh, really?
Yes, like people in Turkey, man. It was like, hey, they looked at me right away. I don't know. I think this because Turkey has a closer connection with the Brazilian government when it comes to tourism. And yeah, so then, man, we went to the market in Istanbul, and right away people looked at me to say, and then they started speaking Portuguese.
What?
Aí, amigo, vem cá. Tem uma coisa aqui pra você. Você é brasileiro, né? I was like, what? How do you know I'm Brazilian? I mean, I didn't know I had a stamp on my forehead that says Brazilian dude on the way. And then it's like, yeah, and then they started speaking Portuguese. I was just like, hey, excuse me, you speak English? The guy, yeah, we speak English, man. We speak all the languages here, man. What language do you want, my friend?
Hindi.
I say, man, yeah. I was like, no, yeah, English is all right, Portuguese too. It's like, how do you know I'm Brazilian? Oh, the way you walk,
Yeah.
I knew you're Brazilian. So really?
You guys are just comfortable everywhere. It just looks like you're at home.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But everybody was friendly. I have, I've recorded so many videos with people, and because I was doing a vlog thing. And I was like, hey, what's up, guys? So I'm here in Istanbul right now. So this is the market. And then somebody would come and say, hey, can I be on a video? Yeah, sure, man, come on. Hey, my name is Ahmed, and I'm from Turkey. Brazil, really cool. This dude, really cool dude. Oh, my God. I was like, it felt great. So I like that. Turkey, it was nice.
All right. Finishing up, man, what advice would you have for anyone listening saying, far out, I want to speak English like Rodrigo does? Like, what would be your biggest piece of advice for reaching such a high level in English?
Well, okay, first, I would say that, understand that that's a process. Understand that your English will always be a work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you will never. I at least personally, to me, what happened was I've never been, satisfied with my English. It's like every day I listen to somebody or I watch a video and say, wow, I have so much more to improve. I have, there are a lot of words that I have no idea what they mean. So I'm going to learn. So if you understand that this is a process and that you will never know everything, that's a great start.
So you have to kind of foster that thirst for improvement, huh?
Yes. And what I would say is just like, don't try to make it too fast.
Yeah.
I know there are a lot of people going like, hey, speak English in 3 months. So why? Do you need that? Man, enjoy this process. Make this, something enjoyable and comfortable. And, I enjoy every word I learn. It's just like last week I learned the word attainable. I say, well, if you have a goal, make sure that this goal is attainable. I was like, wow, attainable. I had never heard this. I would say achievable for that situation. And then I checked the dictionary and said, well, attainable is the same thing. Cool. I'm going to use attainable. Or, I was going live with Teacher Will the other day, and he said, a lot of people get bamboozled. I was like, bamboozled? What word is that?
That's a good one.
Yeah, and then I checked, like, get bamboozled. I was like, get tricked by. I was like, wow, cool. I would use tricked by and say, yeah, a lot of people get bamboozled. And then I learned and I enjoy it. I enjoy this process. So then, so that would be my number 2 advice. So number 1 would be, dedicate yourself, understand that this is a process. Second one is to enjoy every step of the way. Don't try to make it fast. Third is get third piece would be like get the more input as possible. So if you just like listening to your podcast, watching your videos, watching series, listening to music, watching movies, talking to people whenever you can.
Yeah.
I think that would be my advice to people.
It's a beautiful place to end, I think. Rodrigo from EBFDAWG. How would you say
Thank
that?
you.
EBF Dog?
EBF Dog.
EBF
That's
Dog
right.
on Instagram. Thank you so much for coming on, man. Where else can people find you?
Well, they can find me on YouTube, English Black Friday, if you guys want to go there and watch the videos. Now I've got this new series called American English Pronunciation. So if you guys are willing to improve your American English pronunciation, that's the place to be. I'm also on Twitter at English Black Friday, and Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
Brilliant. Wow, Rodrigo, thank you so much, mate. Muito obrigado. Valeu, cara.
Valeu. Thank you so much for having me. I hope people enjoy this conversation, and I'll see you when I see you.
See you guys.